Well, a very good morning, afternoon, or evening, depending on when you're listening to this. This is week 5 of Dunstan Activity Centre's virtual hub, which brings to you various activities, everything from karate to drop a jean size to activities for our toddlers to do with parents and grandparents at home, to how to make a Christmas wreath. And one of the things that we've been doing, as you may remember, is that we've had this session. This is week 5 of Here and Now, which is a listening service, which comes to you on the days when perhaps you need to talk. Just talk yourself out, and you're having to wait perhaps for a talking therapy, or basically people are just not available to listen to you, but you really feel, I need to talk. So this service, Here and Now, is a service that allows you to be listened to fairly immediately and to get stuff off your chest. And sometimes just in that talking yourself out, as we've been saying over the weeks, there's a real release for you, a real healing. And sometimes people get depressed and low and even suicidal when they kind of have all these burdens on their hearts and minds, in their emotions, and they've got no one to kind of share them with or get them out with. And therefore, things become pretty bleak. So this service is just to provide you with people who are compassionate and good listeners, who want to listen to you speak. And so if you think about an hour in one of these sessions, 55 minutes of it will be in listening. Only in the last 5 minutes might one or two things be said, but basically for 55 minutes, all that will happen is that you'll be encouraged to talk, and we will listen. Tonight I'd like to talk to you about how good you are at talking yourself out. We men are not good at it. Women are much better at it. Women tend to share with female friends, at work, perhaps in the neighbourhood, or other females in the family. Women, generally speaking, are much better at it. But not all women, incidentally, but women, generally speaking, are better than men at doing this, at talking themselves out. I want to encourage you all, male or female, to see the value of not keeping it all in, but speaking it out. Sometimes I don't know how women feel, but I know that men feel it's not really manly to be telling people your problems, and whenever they even start to, even if the problems are very great, they say things like, oh, I'm moaning on, when they're not moaning on, but they're talking themselves out, and basically they need to. So I'm just thinking of talking yourself out. Let me ask you this question. When was the last time that you talked yourself out? In these COVID-19 days, we're in a stopping place, aren't we? Everything seems to have ground to a halt. Everybody's thinking their life through in new ways. And I just wonder when the last time was that you spoke about the things that were really on your heart. I don't mean talk about the weather, and telling everybody you're fine, which is what we do all the time, isn't it? How are you? Oh, I'm fine. Often we're anything but fine. And talking about the weather's okay, but it's all a bit shallow. But when's the last time you really spoke about the things that are fairly deep in your spirit, in your heart, in your emotions, in your thoughts? Because basically, there's a healing when we can let all of those words out. Express all of these anxieties, fears, apprehensions, uncertainties. Express them in words for someone else to listen to compassionately. So we've spoken about over the weeks the art of listening. Tonight let's think of the art of talking yourself out. Now, if you're shy, you will speak not very much. So you might just begin to say how you're feeling, but you won't articulate it. You won't get into depth about it. You won't explain it fully. You know, you might just give us a little taste of things. And talking yourself out is so important. And to do that, I want to encourage you to be willing to do it. If you're building up burdens inside of yourself, fears, apprehensions, anxieties, anything like that, distresses, you're building them up, can I say to you, unless you get this stuff out, then as you will know yourself, it can bring you into very low places. Depression is pandemic. There's probably more depression in the northeast of England than there is COVID-19. And COVID-19 is a relative newcomer, isn't it, since about February, March. Depression is not a newcomer to the northeast. Depression is all over the northeast. And so you can see, can't you, that when you trace a lot of depression down, some people have a physiological problem. It's their body. There's a chemical missing, and so it leads them into low places because they need a chemical to help their body to feel better. But most of us are not depressed because of that. We're depressed because of these things that are locked up inside of us. Things that distressed us, hurt us, disappointed us, worried us, made us feel apprehensive and fearful. These are the things. So the release for these things is, usually speaking, not medication. Medication can give you a lift, and I don't think any of us should deny that. They can give you a lift. But actually, if the problem is one of the things I've mentioned there, then the solution is not really in medication. There's no medication that guarantees to take anxiety away, that's guaranteed to take away fear from you, that's guaranteed, to take just in a distress or a worthlessness or a hopelessness you feel. I don't think there is medication for that. And so I believe that in talking yourself out, that there is the hope of something much better, of a healing process. I want to encourage you to talk yourself out. It may be within your own home. Sometimes husbands, wives, partners, girlfriends, boyfriends, fiancés, whatever, sometimes we're not good at listening to each other, and therefore the ones that we love don't feel comfortable talking themselves out to us. But I want to encourage us, particularly in this stopping place that COVID has brought about, to take the time to really talk. Sometimes you just have to sit down at home perhaps and just say, can we have a conversation tonight? I've got a lot of things I want to really share with you. Can we just spend an hour having a good chat? Leave the telly off for a while and let's have a good talk. I've got things on my heart I need to be able to get off and to talk to you about. And that'll be a start. Just the willingness to make time to talk to each other and to listen to each other. And if you're shy, I want to encourage you to get the confidence to speak more than you've ever spoken before. It's not enough just to say, I'm sad. You need to say why you're sad, how long you've been sad, how it's making you feel. So can you see that you've got to articulate these things? You've got to develop these things. And then the person listening begins to get a fairly deep understanding of the words you're saying. And as they're listening to you, they think, oh, right, I didn't know that. I didn't know you felt like that. And so in their listening to you, as you talk yourself out, they begin to understand you. Did you know most relationships are built on the ability to talk? conversation. So if you are the kind of person that gets hurt and, or is basically going through a bad time, an anxious time, an uncertain time, and there's a lot to make us uncertain today, isn't it? Not just health, but things like, for example, my job. How secure is my job? Will I be able to pay for the rent, the mortgage? Will I be able to buy the kids clothes? Will we have any holidays? These are big things. So basically, it is important that we see that talking and developing what we say is very, very important. It's a very important thing. But when we talk ourselves out, we are building relationships with people. Because unless a person really knows you, what's going on inside of you, then basically the relationship is fairly shallow. But if they know, if you're in a relationship, both of you know that you can talk about what's on your heart, you can get it all out, and the other person will listen, then that relationship becomes very, very strong. Let me encourage you not to say things like, oh, I'll sort it out myself. Sometimes, we're not sorting it out ourselves. Can we cope? Yeah. Can we slog on? Yeah. But is that what life's meant to be? Just slogging on? Is that what life's meant to be? Just slogging on? I think it's meant to be something better, and I'm sure you do too. So if I can open myself out to somebody and I can speak at length to someone who's listening to me, then it's good for me. I'm not slogging on anymore. I'm dealing with things in my life to the point where my life is becoming of a much better quality than ever before. And my relationships are building because people really know me. They just don't know me when I'm on a good day, but they know me when I'm on a bad day. They know why I get low, why sometimes I get a bit depressed, why sometimes I feel useless and hopeless. Do you know, you hear some sad cases around here of human beings who end their lives, and when you hear of the circumstances, what you realize is they didn't seem to be able to talk themselves out. And there were people around them who loved them, but yet they hadn't learned the art of talking themselves out. I want to encourage us to get better at doing that. Men particularly. It's not a sign of weakness to share your difficulties, your challenges, your fears, your uncertainties with another person. That's not a sign of weakness. That's not a sign that you're not a man and that you're not a strong guy. Do you know, strong guys can do that. Strong guys can do it. They're only really, in their talking themselves out, they're really only saying, you know what it is? I'm a human being. Things affect me. Things make me feel good. Things make me feel bad. Things encourage me. Things discourage me. Some things make me feel great, and some things make me feel absolutely useless. And I want to say to you, sometimes we are suffering because we feel that we're failures, that we're not really much good at anything. And if you live under the clouds of being a failure, then the sun's not going to shine very much in your life. Can I just say things to you that I think we all need to say? Men, I think we all need to say them. We're all failures in some way. Do you know, sometimes the hardest thing in my life has been, I don't know about you, but when I felt I failed, that I was a real failure. I just didn't do what I really feel I could have done much, much better. And I felt a right failure. And sometimes when you feel like a failure, you beat yourself up, don't you? Sometimes, if you get beaten up with fists, well, you get bruised and you get hurt, but usually the bruises come out and you get healed again. But if you psychologically beat yourself up, sometimes those scars are with you for the rest of your life. So if we feel like a failure, let me just say, we're all failures. If you feel like you really blew it, you really messed it up, we've all blown it, we've all messed it up. If you feel, oh, goodness me, listen, we've all been there. You're not alone. We're all in the same club. And we need to be honest enough to say so. So over the weeks, we've looked at the art of listening compassionately to each other. And look, we've said this, you're a very special human being if you can be a good listener and a compassionate listener to others. But we are saying tonight that the art of talking yourself out is very, very important too. The art of talking oneself out. If you can find someone to listen to you, wonderful, in your own home. But sometimes, for whatever reason, busyness or whatever, we can't find someone to hear us, to listen to us as we talk ourselves out. So I just want to close with this. This service that runs from Dunstan Activity Centre is here and now. And this service, as I said at the beginning, is this, that you phone or contact us on these details that I will leave with you, and we will set up a way for you to talk yourself out. And I want to encourage you to do that. If we all get better at talking ourselves out honestly and in depth, and we all get better at listening to each other as we do that, our home lives and our community lives, our lives with our kids, our close relationships, and our very communities around us, we're going to add to the quality of life. Life's going to seem good for us. And if you think about it, what is a good community? Isn't a good community where people can be real and honest about how they are, how they're feeling? And if they're not, doing well or feeling well, then they can find people who will listen to them as they talk themselves out. I think that is a very high quality community. So let's get better and better at that. This service that we run from Dunstan Activity Centre offers you this. You can have a telephone conversation. If you would like to just speak yourself out on the telephone, anonymously if you want, then you could telephone me on 0191 460 4567. If I'm not there, leave me a message and a contact detail and I'll get back to you. Or you can email us and you can talk yourself out digitally by email. If you therefore contact me on ed.nichols, NICHOLS, @live.com, then we can start that conversation on email. If you prefer to speak to a woman, then I can set that up for you if you're a woman. If you want a face-to-face talk, socially distanced, of course, and all the safety measures observed, then again, if you contact me either by email or telephone, then I can arrange to see you face to face. If you would like a Zoom conversation, a Zoom meeting, again, if you contact me either by telephone or email, let me know, then we can fix it up. May this COVID teach us all the art of talking ourselves out like never before, and the art of listening to each other compassionately like never before. Then we will emerge from this COVID-19 situation people who have learned what community life can be like, how good it can be. We can know what it means to be cared for within our homes and communities in a new dimension. And I trust you and I will want to be part of such a community, such a home life. Thank you for listening. My very best wishes to you all. You're not alone. No man is an island. No woman is an island. You're not alone. However you're feeling, there's a whole club. If you're in the depression club, there's a whole club. It's got a huge membership. So you're not alone. You're not alone. Thank you for listening. Good morning, good afternoon, or good night, depending when you're listening to this. Thank you.